Hi, everybody. Welcome to Leading for Life Stories, Season 2. My name is Bob Judson, and I'm your host for this podcast, and I'm absolutely delighted to have you here joining me. Thanks very much, and I really hope you enjoy what follows. Hi, everybody. Well, the majority of my podcasts, I do audio only, and I normally sit at home, and I have a good setup at home to be able to record them, and that's why I do them that way. I thought, though, this time, because I'm a bit short of time this week because I'm away and I've been traveling, and I'm traveling as soon as I get home, and I want to make sure I get something out for this Sunday. But I thought I'd put a shortish message out and do it on video, and obviously put the audio out as a podcast transcript as well on my normal channels, because I wanted to talk about lifelong learning and investing in yourself and finding ways to ensure you do invest in yourself. And the reason I say that is because it really resonates with me every time I come and do some of the facilitation work that I do, how important that is to take time for you, to build time for you, to turn around and invest in yourself and make sure that you're feeling that you have given your best to you. Because I think a lot of the time we get consumed with work, with personal life, whatever it happens to be, and we don't actually take the time to think about how can I actually develop my own capabilities. I mean, I've been here this time for the last 3.5 days. I've been with Deloitte University here in France, and I'll just pan around so you can see what our teams are currently doing at the moment while I'm recording this. They're busy doing a reflection session on some of the work that we've actually been doing during the course in a really nice campus just north of Paris near Chantilly, and it's great. It's a terrific opportunity to put just over 100 senior managers from Deloitte in a world where they can connect with each other. They can strengthen their networks. They can actually build capability in a whole range of areas, particularly around their leadership skills, as they go into a role and a grade in the firm where actually that starts to really matter, and they're starting to have to build teams, to run teams, to understand more about themselves, their own characteristics in terms of how good are they at being emotionally intelligent, how good are they at recognizing the traits in leadership that are really important that they should be looking to reflect and work with on their own teams, because not everybody does that. And sometimes people go through life quite happily thinking, I'm great at this stuff, or I'm really rubbish at this stuff, and actually not putting any development into making sure they really are great, or if they feel they're not that great, how they actually improve it and get better at it. And that's what we try and do here. We try and impart a lot of that training to them, to turn around and give them a course that's pretty intensive over 3.5 days, to really make them reflect and spend time thinking about all those things, having had some ideas put to them, giving them some tools, some techniques, some processes that potentially will really help them shape what they do for the future. And it's interesting when you get the feedback, you see the enthusiasm amongst the participants where, apart from anything else, they suddenly realize that when they're working with a bunch of their peers in a biggish cohort, a lot of the problems, the challenges, the things they're facing, actually everyone else is facing too. And most people have been on this journey. They understand what it's like to be in this position, and consequently, they're sympathetic to it. They understand that this takes time, it takes effort, and you have to think about looking for those opportunities to turn around and improve. And there are loads of them. If you build the space for yourself, whether you're doing online training, whether you're doing physical training, whether it's just you one-to-one for your own personal well-being, or whether within your company there are opportunities that you can look for that will help you develop yourself and build yourself into being a better version of you. Because ultimately, that is what this is all about. If you don't actually take those opportunities right through life, then it will always be a bit of a challenge. Because the reality is that leadership for sure is a journey that you never finish. In my view, having been around for 40 plus years doing leadership related roles right from the very beginning of my Air Force career through to what I do now, this is not something that I ever think's finished. I always think there's more stuff I can learn. I always think there's more stuff that I can do to improve. Every time I come and facilitate a course with whichever company it is I'm working with, I learn from the fellow facilitators I'm with, or also from the participants. because we all have different ideas, and it's all about looking at that model. What do I see in other people that shapes my own leadership model? Do I see things that I really like and that I want to actually copy and emulate and put into my own toolkit so I can use those things for myself to actually help build what I do and improve what I do progressively over the years? Do I see things in people that I really don't like? And we've all worked probably for people who you really don't like working for, and they will have traits that you can recognize, that you can go, do you know what? I never want to do that. And I never want to see that, and I don't want to tolerate that amongst the team of people that I work with. That's fair. That's absolutely what you should do. You should look at those kind of opportunities to think about, how do I improve my own model, make myself a better version of me? Because if you do, you will become a better, stronger, more credible leader with all the right traits that inspire people, that people want to follow, and that people will believe in. And that makes such a big difference. So find those opportunities. Look hard for where you can actually do that kind of training. Look for additional qualifications where it's appropriate. Look for a chance to develop yourself, so you're actually finding yourself in a position that you can come away from some kind of course and training with a new qualification, a new experience, a new process for you that you can use, that you can leverage to turn around and help your leadership in the future, and gives you more credibility, more experience, more tools, more tips, because you can never stop getting enough of those. And I think peer networking, working with people who are in your peer group, to turn around and make sure that you are leveraging everything you've got, every opportunity you have, to turn around and get to a space where you've really fulfilled your own ambitions. You get to a point where you're still enjoying what you do, you're challenging yourself routinely. That's so important, because if you're not doing that, if you actually start looking at what's my focus for what I want to do, and you realize that your focus and your interest for what you want to do isn't what you're actually doing, then you need to think about, how do I change that? How do I make that better? Because if I can't make it better, then I need to think about doing something more radically different. Because at the end of the day, you do not want to get to my kind of age, for sure, with a situation that you actually feel, I wish I'd done something different with my life. I've been very lucky all my life that I've had great jobs, the majority of which I've really enjoyed every aspect of it. Of course, there are ups and downs. But in my entire time in the Air Force, I never had a job where I didn't enjoy it. The balance of what I did was always enjoyable. And that's such an important thing. That's true post my life in the Air Force as well, when I was working for Deloitte, and equally what I do now for myself as an independent. I think if you can't do that, find a way to change what you do. Look for how I can actually reshape myself to get to a point where life is worth it. You feel you're getting out of bed in the morning with a spring in your step and a willingness to actually get on and do what's important. And back to my learning point, if you're changing stuff, then find ways to change it and look for things that are going to help you make that change. And that may be new qualifications, it may be courses and formal courses that you have to do, it may be online training you have to do, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Just get on and make the effort to do it. Build the time. Find a space in your life to be able to do that, because it will be more fulfilling for you, for sure. If you never make the change, then you won't actually find the value from doing it. And the other thing that I tend to say to lots of people when I'm doing training with them is, if you commit yourself into a course and you actually go and do it, and you don't change anything as a result of it, why did you bother doing the course? You must find ways to turn around and actually make a difference with what you do. And if you're not making a difference to yourself and to other people that work for you, with you, around you, then why did you bother to do that in the first place? So do some self-criticism, some self-critique on a regular basis. Find a way to ensure that you are actually achieving what you want to achieve in life. Because if you do that, life will feel better, you'll be more positive, you'll come away with a feeling that day in, day out, you're actually enjoying what you do, you're valuing what you do. People will be enjoying working with you and for you and around you, and they will find you a nicer, better person to work with. So it's such an important thing to do, and I think all too often we don't do it. So finding yourself in a position where you can get that kind of more exposure is what I'm recommending to you. And I think whether that's courses, whether that's coaching, just grab it. Grab those opportunities that are out there. Look for ways to turn around and self-reflect and self-improve. And it will make a real difference to everything that you do. I know this episode is going to be a really short one this week because normally, obviously, I'm out there at about 30 minutes. This time, obviously, as I say, I've got lots of other stuff going on. So I just wanted to make sure I put something out that was going to give you a bit of a pause to reflect and an opportunity to think about what can I do in the next week, month, year that is going to make a difference to my life. There must be something. There must be something that you can do that is going to make a difference, that's going to improve what you do, how you do it, who you work with, and make your life and the life of those of you around you better. So look for that thing, grab it, go for it, and let me know what it was. I'll be really interested in your feedback if you're up for doing that as well. Thanks ever so much. I'll be back with a kind of more normal podcast next week, and I really hope you've enjoyed this one. Take care. Bye-bye.